I remember when I started my career, right, Valet, it's like you should look at films of Rocky running outside, right? How many bodybuilders do you actually see running outside anymore?
Yeah, I don't. I
You
don't.
know, you don't, and this was a form of before treadmills came along, that's what they did. That's what these guys did. Just being back is something about that whole nature and being grounded to the roots of things. So I enjoy it. I feel so much better. You're out there in your freedom. You're able to think, and your mind is free, right? And when you're in that free space, you can just create. And then you realize when you come back home and you pick up the cell phone and you get behind your desk and everything, it's like, wow, okay, this is that fake world. So.
I noticed you look happier now. You look in your on your social media. You look genuinely happy. Being outside. You know what I mean, and just experiencing the world out there. You have that glow. You know what I mean. You're always smiling. You look happy, man. That's really good to see.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Of
Thank
course.
you. Like I said, just going back to the roots, being happy, it's become less stressful for me, actually.
Interesting.
You know.
That's great to hear, man.
Mhm.
Now, I want to ask you about your company because it seemed like your company started expanding. You mentioned the expansion was a big expansion, but it's sort of like when you retired from bodybuilding, it seemed like you were quiet for a little bit, right? And then you came out with Levrone supplements,
Mhm.
and then it just skyrocketed. You have like a signature line, you have the gold line, the black line. Yeah, you have so many different countries really embracing the brand. It's almost like you,
Yeah.
you became like a real major player in that space.
Yeah. I got it contributed to back in the day when I would compete, as a bodybuilder and going on all the world tours for that and having that opportunity. I realized that bodybuilding was a business, not to take my place in personal. But if you're going to train so hard and get ready for a competition, you might as well go out and just show the world, right? So the opportunity to be able to go to other countries, Spain, Italy, Germany, France, Holland, Czech Republic, Russia, for the first time, 1994, we were the first bodybuilders that went into Russia. And then again in 97. So those contacts and those promoters, that I met then, now they're distributors. They've moved to not only promoting bodybuilding shows, but now they have a channel for implementing the structure within the country as far as health and fitness. So it's allowed me that now that I've been retired, that I have they recognize me over there. I've won 90% of my shows over in Europe touring. So, when I decided to do the Levrone signature series and everything, what better, greater place to do it than where I already have a foundation. So not knowing then, but it paid off now. So when I go back, I feel like I'm going, you know, back to home actually, because my roots are so deeply rooted. I could think back about Germany. I mean, I've won a German Grand Prix two times. I was the first athlete that ever won the Russian Grand Prix in '94, like I said. So those are deeply rooted roots. And when I go back, it's like, wow, what can I do for the infrastructure of Russia and these countries? And I've seen how they've grown so much from when I was there in 1994. Now I'm able to go back and give seminars and give my knowledge that I've gained 30 years in this sport of health and fitness and nutrition and help the government build the infrastructure within the school systems, within the police systems, within the community when it comes to the gym. So when I go out on the road and I go into the countries, it's not only about the supplements. The supplements, Levroni is a segue in. But if I don't leave an impact in there, then I feel like I'm not doing what I was called to do. So yeah, we're all over the world. It's been a great experience to parallel off of bodybuilding, and I look forward to spending a lot of time there. Man, I was in about almost 70 different countries in the last 2 years. So
Now, obviously, you have retired from competitive bodybuilding, right? Do you think the guys who are competing today, the current pros, do you think they should censor themselves? Like if they go to a seminar and somebody asks them about, steroids or substances, do you think as a competing professional they should not discuss those things? I mean, do you feel that, or do you feel like they should
No,
be
Valet. I mean, again, we were faced with these questions coming along, you
all the
know,
time when you're competing too?
in our contracts with Joe, and it's left to the individual if they want to speak about it or not. Like I feel very comfortable talking about it, because my cycles were not monstrous. Most people don't even believe that, you know, the little bit of stuff that I took, I could accomplish what I've accomplished. But I always say that, my drive and my success did not come out of a steroid bottle. Of course, it contributes. But if you had it took all the steroids and didn't exist, I think the champions still would have remained the champions because of their work ethic and the drive behind it. You know, I saw the clip that you did with part of it about Michael Hearn. You know, and I've known Mike
Yeah.
30 years.
I was gonna ask you, what do you think about Mike Hearn?
I think this. Let me tell you something. Michael Hearn has a work ethic that I don't even have. Okay, and yeah, honestly, you know me, Valet. I mean, I've only trained when there was a show to get ready for. Mike has always been in shape his whole entire life. You know, that's just his mindset. All right. So let's start from there. So that's a genetic gene that he has that I don't have. Okay. Now, to do that, you have to be consistent, training, diet. He's always in the gym. I don't think Michael's training regimen and his focus has changed and his commitment far as pursuing, his workouts and his training. Mike has always been like that. See, people don't understand. He's been wearing that for years and years and years. And I want to tell you something. He's been very, very consistent. I've never seen Michael Heron out of shape. Never in my entire life. And when people do use, you can tell when they're using, you could tell when they're on, you could tell when they're not on. Their DNA or their genetics just fluctuate. You know, Look at all of us. Look at every Mr. Olympia, right? Every Mr. Olympia, everybody that competed at that level, they're fluctuating. But you look at these natural athletes, okay? They're so consistent. It's mind blowing. And I believe that Michael Heron is natural. You know, I believe he. I believe. I believe that he is. I really do because his work ethic is just unbelievable. He's never got injured. Never an injury. A lot of times when you cycle on and off, your strength goes up and down. He's always been very, very consistent, and you just don't see that kind of consistency in someone who's cycling, you know, steroids. Very, very consistent. You see that solid consistency in someone who is just natural because they naturally wake up, they naturally that strong, they naturally have that drive. They just have it naturally, you know. And I never see Michael O'Haron's weight fluctuate to where he goes up to 290, and come down to 225. You just don't see it, right?
Always very
He's
consistent. Always,
always,
yeah, always.
always like this. So people need to stop looking at what they see and start looking at that individual and breaking down that what he stands for and what he's all about. So you know what? I believe Mike.
No, that's a good point because so what happens is, what happened. We about to release a movie called Generation Nine. The fourth installment of the series, and Micah Hearn is in the film, and of course he's defending himself, and he obviously always claims to be natural, and that creates just a ton of back and forth conversations and comments, and people just all saying, "We don't believe you, we don't believe you," and obviously people will decide what they want to believe, but it's good to hear that you believe in, which is
Valid,
obviously.
valid. People didn't believe I could go out here and look like I never even lift the weight and get ready for the Mr. Olympia in 4 months. Some things that people just have, you just can't explain it. I didn't take 1,000 milligrams or 5,000 milligrams of tests or all this stuff. It just happened for me like that. And some people just have these genetics that you just can't explain. And I would have to say, because of Mike, because I've known him, consistency and everything, and what he stands for, I would have to say, I believe what he's saying.